Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at some news, ladies and gentlemen, because there's some fun things going on, and we need to have a little bit of a talk about them. So, we might as well start off with disappointing news if you are over in Taiwan. And to be fair, in Hong Kong. Because it has been shown on the official Facebook page that the Precious Collector box is coming to those territories next year. Which is wonderful, wonderful news. Mostly. Because if you look at that image, you might notice there's something missing. And there's something pretty important missing. And maybe if I go and show you the Japanese box, you might notice what it is. Yep. the promo's gone. Yeah, the promo's gone, ladies and gentlemen. And that's actually a really big deal. Because for me, personally, that's the reason I bought it. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the accessories. You've got a binder, you've got a frame, and you've got a box. And they all look brilliant and awesome and wonderful. And to be fair, as I've shown you before, they've actually got some of the most relevant cards from the Sword and Shield era etched into them. We can see Crobat, Luminion, Zacian V, Charizard, VMAX. I could keep going, I'm not going to. The point is, they look amazing and I love them. But this is a very expensive product. Would I have pulled the trigger if it didn't come with an amazing promo? Maybe? It's not terribly relevant, if I'm honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, because it comes with this amazing promo. And again, this promo really, really does represent the Sword and Shield era of the Pokémon TCG with Zacian and Inteleon and Crobat and all of that good stuff. It is one of the best promos they've released, at least in the Sword and Shield era. Now, one of the cool things they did with this box is they actually made it available made to order, and it was up for ages, and then they brought it back for a second made to order run, and I am absolutely wonderfully over the top delighted by this. I've got my pre-order in, and I'm very excited. But right now, over in Hong Kong and Taiwan, it looks like they're not getting the promo. Now, the eagle-eyed among you may notice, well, hang on a second, Wassy. The image you showed us looks an awful lot like the image you showed us from Japan that doesn't have the promo, and it's clearly the same image, all right? The photograph, at least. Here's the thing. Every time they showed this image in Japan, there was another image next to it with the promo. And as it stands at the moment, I'm not seeing a promo. But they'd never release this without the promo, would they? Well, I've got to give a shout out to the lovely Primal Lugia here. Because the lovely Primal Lugia has reminded us that we can go and look at the 25th anniversary gold box that was released in Singapore. Singapore, of course, being another Asian territory which is covered by the Pokemon Company rather than the Pokemon Company International. And if you look at this box, you may notice that something's missing. And if we put it side by side with the Japanese box, you will notice there are in fact two things missing, and that is the gold Pikachu card and the gold Pokeball card. They're gone. They should be there. They're not there, ladies and gentlemen. They're just not there. Now, to be fair, the Hong Kong box did have those promos, and we are talking about Hong Kong here with this other box, so maybe they're going to get them, but it's certainly looking a lot at the moment like this box is being released without the promo. That's not 100% confirmed at this stage, I don't believe, but it certainly does look like they're being left out, and that's a little bit sad. In terms of good news, you remember I told you about that Palkia regional mat that was available at the special event in Europe? Yeah, that's a real thing. The lovely Alpha TCG has gone and shown us this. This is what was given away over at Melbourne Regionals last weekend, and it is the Boss's Order Cyrus, which has been given out for a little while now. We've seen that at a bunch of tournaments, and the Palkia playmat. I don't have a huge amount to add to this. if I'm honest with you. But I did tell you that was probably going to be in a regional in the future. It has now turned up at a regional, and it just seems a little bit rude if I, don't update the news and let you all know. No idea what's going to be given out of Wisconsin this coming weekend, but it's likely to be these. As for North American internationals, that is likely to be different, so hold your horses on that one just a little bit. Do remember that at the EUIC, the ball that was given away was Flottball, or, Quickball, but all in German. So, yeah, that's probably, if I had to guess, I'd say that's probably going to be given away at the North American Internationals, although, obviously, please do bear in mind it's going to be in English, not in German. And then do remember there is a proper International Championships mat that they give out, so it's not going to be one of the mats which is just booster pack artwork. That's not the way they do it. I mean, obviously, it's going to say North America, not Europe, but other than that, expect it to be this mat, but just with North America on instead. Cool? Cool. Because the last thing I want to talk about today is a bit of an odd story. You see, at the weekend, there was a Japan Championships, and it was rather lovely, and there was a stream and all of that, and it was good. And I couldn't understand the stream properly. I'm learning Japanese, but it's taken a while, so to speak. So I'm listening along, and it's going quite well, and then I get a very, very interesting message from a very, very lovely person. You see, the lovely HKG, who has helped out in a bunch of different ways over the past year or so, sent me a message saying, from the speech of Creatures Inc. PTCG developer Mr. Inoue at JCS Prize Ceremony, that's Japan Championships, he said, we will continue releasing new V-Stars and VMAXs, and this is very, very interesting to me. VMAXs aren't done. Now, this is a back and forth that we've been having on this channel for a little while now, and things are getting quite confusing and also kind of fun, and I'll be honest with you, the whole thing's been a bit of a ride, and I am into it. Because, and I stand by this, they stopped making VMAXs. The final year 2 set of the Sword and Shield Pokemon TCG was VMAX Climax, and in VMAX Climax they did introduce, okay, not many, but they gave us Mimikyu VMAX. That was a thing, right? They gave us Mimikyu VMAX, and that was it. And although we did have VMAXs in our equivalent of Starbirth, Brilliant Stars, they were just catching up from ones Japan had that we haven't. Actual Starbirth over in Japan did not have any new VMAXs. They were gone. All right, they were gone. There was no such thing as VMAXs. Starbirth didn't have them. And then Battle Region came along, which was, of course, Sword and Shield 9A. And that didn't have any VMAXs either. That was also not a thing. They were gone. So for 2 Japanese sets in a row, we had no VMAXs, VMAXs weren't a thing, and I thought at that stage it was fair to presume that VMAXs were gone. And then Space Juggler and Time Gazer came along, presumably to spite me, and each of those sets gave us exactly 1 VMAX. They're the ones that came around in Astral Radiance, so we ended up with Heatran and Machamp, and it seemed very half-hearted. We just had Machamp and Heatran, and that was it. 1 in each of the sets. They weren't really trying, but we had a couple of VMAXs. When I say they weren't really trying, what I mean is V-Stars had replaced VMAXs for 2 sets. That statement was absolutely true. And then they brought VMAXs back, but it was a very small amount, and they weren't really bringing them back like before. It was just kind of dipping toes in the water. Obviously, they were trying. And we also had the promo Pikachu, which is amazing, incidentally. But that was just a magazine promo. We could kind of push that one off. And then Dark Phantasma happened, which is, again, a mini set. And would you believe it? No VMAXs to be found. Dark Phantasma comes along. It's a mini set. And VMAXs are done. Again. But they're not really done because it's just a mini set. And the rule seems to be, very simply, that we don't have VMAXs in mini sets, we have them in main sets. except for Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go's coming and we know that we again have 2 V-Star and 1 VMAX. That is to say, we've got Melmetal VMAX, but it's only Melmetal, that's the only one. So now, we've had 3 sets without VMAXs since we started year 3 of the Sword and Shield TCG. We've had 3 sets without VMAXs, and we've had 3 sets with VMAXs, but in the 3 sets with VMAXs, we've had exactly 1 VMAX in there. It's all getting, well, except for Pokemon Go, actually kind of predictable. Because the next set which is going to be announced, and we're expecting this to be announced any moment, it could literally be Friday, and honestly, if it's not Friday, it basically has to be next Friday, because we really are running out of time at this stage. But we should expect that to have exactly 1 VMAX. Someone who really knows what they're talking about has told us VMAXs are still going to be coming, but I really think we should temper our expectations a little bit. Yes, I believe VMAXs will keep coming, but I think it's largely going to be 1 VMAX per main set, whereas a double set, you should expect 2, 1 in each of the halves, but V-Stars have clearly replaced VMAXs. But for some reason, VMAXs are still trickling out. I still find that very weird, incidentally. I'm still not entirely sure why we're doing that. But apparently it's a thing and we are, so just roll with it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's what you need to know. That's the news for now, and now it's over to you guys. Let me know what you think about all of this. Give me your predictions for which VMAXs we will have, and let me know if you think we're ever actually going to get Hatterene, the only Gigantamax form that doesn't have its own VMAX. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.